My dad's always been a big sports guy, and my brothers are sports guys, and my uncles and my cousin, and really everyone except me, basically, and my mom were big on sports. And growing up, this was a thing that came up a lot. And while he will deny it, it was fairly obvious to me that it was much easier and more natural for him to invest in the sports that my brothers were playing than in my marching band or my school plays or any of that type of stuff that I was doing. He was much more invested in football, but I didn't really see that as a kid. I associated him with baseball, and that was because of the family weekly softball games. That was because my brothers played Little League, and my dad was very involved in that. And there was the fact that the only sporting events that we went to in Pittsburgh were Pirates games, which I later found out was probably more because of the price difference between Pirates tickets and Steelers tickets. By the time, all I knew was that if we went to a sporting event, it was the Pirates. So when I was about 10 years old and I wanted to get connected with my dad, I wanted to get more deeply connected to him and understand him better and maybe have him be more invested in stuff that I was doing, I started looking into things that he was interested in, and that meant looking into baseball. And around that time, they announced a couple expansion teams. They were going to be adding to the league, the Colorado Rockies and the Florida Marlins. And I thought to myself, oh, here's these expansion teams. They're going to be these new teams in the league. They're going to have this trouble. They don't have this established fan base. They don't have this established relationship with the rest of the league. They're going to stand out as distinct from the other teams, and they're probably going to get a lot of crap from everyone else in the league until they really prove themselves. And maybe there was some projecting going on there, but that was how I understood the role of being a new team in the league. And so I felt it was appropriate to kind of be their friend. And so obviously the only way you be a friend of a major league sports team is to cheer for them. And so I sent each of them a letter. I wrote out a letter and I mailed it to each of them. And it said, hey, welcome to the league. Hope you have a great season. I'll be cheering for you. Good luck out there, that type of thing. Pretty basic, normal stuff. And the Florida Marlins did exactly what you would expect a major league team to do on getting a letter like this, which is nothing. I don't know if they even read it, but they didn't. They never acknowledged it. They never responded, which I didn't expect them to. Who would? The Rockies, however, did. They sent me back a letter thanking me so much for my support and expressing their appreciation for having fans at the very beginning of their career, especially fans from the other side of the country and stuff like this, and kind of introducing this stuff and telling me a little bit about it. And that letter came inside of a box. And inside of that box was this little booklet that they explained in the letter that this booklet was something they would be giving out to people at their stadium during the initial, I don't know if it was the first game or the first season or whatever, but it was a book about information on the Rockies and information on the Denver area and on the stadium and all that stuff. And so it was going to be given out at the stadium, but obviously I couldn't make it to the stadium, so they sent me one as, kind of a thank you and a welcome to this kind of Rockies family, I guess. And included in there was a couple other little trinkets. The inaugural season roster in baseball cards, the whole roster, in fact, and which I still have, obviously, and a hat, Colorado Rockies hat. Now, at the time, I had never really been a hat guy. I didn't really wear hats, but I started wearing that hat, and I was hooked. I loved that reply. And to this day, I still cheer for the Rockies because of that event when I was 10 years old. And that hat, actually, I wore it constantly. And eventually that one got eaten by a dog, and I got another one, and it got lost in a move or something. And I don't have a Colorado Rockies hat right now. I hope to get one again. But all of the hats that I've since worn, all of this, I kind of am known for as part of my fashion is hats. I wear a lot when I'm outside, but it all started with that hat. That was the one that launched that whole thing. So when I tell people that I cheer for the Rockies, and they're like, but you live in New England and you grew up just outside of Pittsburgh, why are those not the teams that you cheer for? And it's just well, now then did what the Rockies did, I guess.